So I'm looking at whether stock photographers can still make money in photography. And I studied this about 6 years ago. Out of that 6 years, I spent about 4.5 years doing stock images. And mine's a bit of a mixture, not just stock images, but also some 3D and some graphics. Now, in that time, I've made $180,000 or slightly more than that. And I haven't uploaded anything for the last 6 months. And in the last a year, I haven't uploaded much at all. And I still make $1,800 a month. So I'm getting residual income. Now, because I've used a mixture of 3D, some graphics, and some photography, I'm going to look at a couple of people that I've followed for a long time who just do stock photography. So let's have a look at those. And at the end of this, I'll look at some advantages and disadvantages and whether you should still do it. So the first person is here. His name's Steve. I'm not actually sure of his second name, but it's this website, Backyard Silver. And the good thing is that he gives out his statistics on how much he made each month. And we can have a look at the last, over here, we can actually look at the last 4 years on this graph. Now, he only does this part-time, so it's not full-time. He's got another job, and he says he earns more in the other job than this job. So he doesn't upload so many. And I had a look, and over here it shows that he's uploaded, he said in 8 years, he's uploaded 10,000 images. So it's actually only about 100 images a month that he uploads. So if we have a look at his earnings, then you've got different colors for the different years here. And 2017, which it's now November 2017, and it's the red one. So if we look over here, the red, then it seems to average maybe $2,700 a month, which I think is okay. I mean, it's pretty good. He's only working part-time on that. But this is images that he's built up over time. So it wasn't always that. And if you look going past years, maybe he's been earning about 2,300 or so. So it's not been up that high. And so it's actually increasing. And his average seems to be, if we take all of these last 4 years, maybe it's around 2,400, something like that. So that's part-time, and he's uploading about 100 a month. And I think you could upload more than that. I've actually got 40,000 images, but he looks at quality over quantity, and I kind of look at quantity over quality. I've just uploaded lots of images, which was good before my income per month went over $5,000, but then it's come right down again. So I think in the long run, you're probably best with quality over quantity. That's the first person. And the other person I want to look at is Yuri Arkuz. And he, going back to when I looked at it before, he was doing quite well. He was shooting photography on his own, and maybe, I'm not sure when he did it, but he started with one other photographer. This was when I used to look at his stuff, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought, well, I wonder, he was always pretty good at photography, and I just wondered how he was doing. So I came and had a look at his blog, which he hadn't updated for a long time. But then in March, he updated it with the latest. And he's actually built himself a studio, and he's got some different statistics here, or some information that he's got a total of about 80 people working for him. I think a bit further down here. So in 2010, he had 70,000 images. And in 2016, which was last year, he'd got 400,000. He used to have 6 photographers in 2010. When I was following him originally, he'd only got himself and one other person. And now he's got 29 photographers who actually work for him or make photos for him. He did have 10 staff. He's now got 80. And he had a studio that he rented, and now he owns the studio, 3,000 square meters. And just something about his photography, this 5% is it means for 100 photos that he took, he only kept 5 of the images and threw away the other 95. And now, from every 100 images he takes, he throws away 98 images and only keeps 2 images. So he's just looking for more and more quality. And so he's definitely gone the way of quality. And this is really something that you can see that if you do keep at it and really go for quality and carry on, then this, maybe it's taken him 10 years in total to get here. I'm not sure. Less than 10 years, I would have think. He's going back to 2011 there, I think it was. 2010, and I'm not sure exactly when he started. But maybe in 10 years, he's going to having 80 staff. So it just shows that it can be done and that it's still possible to make it work, because he's actually got photographers working for him. So he's got to pay them and give them good money as well as getting money for himself. So I think it can still work. But I do think that nowadays you've got to go quality over quantity. And the other thing is to start with stock photography. If you start doing stock photography, then you can end up getting clients who will pay you to go and do different things. And you can also go into other realms of photography. You'll learn how to be a good photographer. And then you can go off do wedding photography or travel photography and things like that. So I want to look at the good and the bad. And let's go up to here first. So these are the advantages. The advantage is you can work from home or you can travel. If you work from home, you might want to do some tabletop photography. And if you're in a place that the weather's fairly good, actually if it's cloudy and bright is quite good. You could actually do this outside with very little lighting. But you could do tabletop photography. It's probably the easiest way to get started. Use some stuff from around the home. Or you could have, if there's another person with you, you could have them acting out some scene. Maybe they're cooking or boiling water, things like that. And you could just take pictures in the home like that. Another advantage is that you can travel. And for me, it's great. I've actually traveled for the last 27 years. And the last 6 years doing this, I've had no boss. And I just work for myself. I work when I want, which doesn't mean I don't work hard. I actually work hard. But I can do when I want. And sometimes I'll take a week or two off and just travel or do something else. You can work your own hours. So it doesn't mean that you're doing 9 to 5. You might want to do the photography at the weekend. When you're out, you can go somewhere, especially if you've got a family, go off somewhere and take photos. You can improve your photography. And I think this is a big thing about stock photography, that if you want to improve your photography, then why not get paid for doing it? You can learn and then get paid at the same time. And you can see whether your photographs are good or not. Because you need to, for some companies like Shutterstock or iStock, you have to pass a test to get in there in the first place. And you have to improve yourself to get through the test. And then once you've improved yourself, you can see which of your photos do better. And that helps you to know what you should be doing. And also, if you gradually find you're earning more money, you know you're doing the right thing. Whereas if you're not, then you have to learn more and actually improve yourself. So I think it's a good way to improve your photography. And last but certainly not least is that it can lead to other jobs. Now, even here, I've been out and about taking photos, and I was asked if I wanted to do some photography for a wedding. So it can lead to other jobs, and you can advertise yourself, especially if you do your own website. Then you could say that you can do work for other people and do it that way, or you could do a blog or maybe a YouTube channel, and it could lead to other jobs. So those are the advantages of it. Let's look at the disadvantages. And maybe the first one is that it takes time to build up. So it can be a bit discouraging at first. It takes time to get good. And then when you upload, at first you've got to get, as I said, through, for some of the websites, not all, but you have to pass a test. And so that might take a little bit of time. and then you've got to build up a portfolio before you start seeing the money. So it's a few months at least until you actually see the rewards. But all this time you're learning, so it's okay. There is a lot to learn. It's not just pointing a camera. The probably most difficult thing is the lighting and getting the lighting right, and it's not always a good time to do it. So you might have to use lights in a studio, and you've got to learn about that. You have got to learn about what is aperture and aperture priority, things like that. But you can actually just go ahead and use the programmable or automatic mode. And I wouldn't worry too much about that at first. You can do that later. And then of course you want to improve your images using things like Photoshop or Lightroom. And then that's more to learn as well. So it's not easy, it is hard work, but I think it's rewarding. You can see the images at the end of it. And if you like a sort of life where you're traveling or no boss, then the work's rewarding. Now, it's not as good as it was. The heyday really was in, people say about 2005. Now, I didn't start at that time. I started doing it seriously, I think it was 2012. So I kind of missed that heyday. But I've earned nearly $200,000. So I think it's still possible to do it. And I was watching a YouTube video recently, and someone was saying that what you can do is you do stock photography, but you do other things at the same time. So you can build a blog and people can follow what you're doing, and you make a little bit of money like that. You can also, on your blog, maybe have some affiliate products. So when you get into it, you can branch off on other things. But first of all, get good at stock photography, and then you can also branch out. So let's wrap it up. Is it worth it? I think it's worth it if you want freedom and no boss. If you're trying to make mega bucks, then I think it's a hard way to do it. But it's more the lifestyle that you get with it. You get your freedom, you got no boss. And you could do it in part-time. If you enjoy photography, then just do it at the weekend and see what happens. See if you make money, and then you can carry on doing it full-time. It's good if you can't do a regular job. Maybe you have to stay at home, or maybe you have to do certain things that are not regular hours. So if you can't do a regular job, maybe you have to pick kids up from school, things like that, then it's a good thing to do during the hours that you've got available. You don't have to do it full time. You don't have to do it at a specific time. If you enjoy photography, then I think this is a good way of doing it, because you're actually doing it for a reason. It's always good to do something for a reason. It makes you go out there and actually take the photos. It's good if you want to improve your photography, because I really do think it improves it. You have to improve it. And you also look at new equipment, what equipment to buy to improve it, what techniques you can do, what you could do in Lightroom to improve your photography, things like that. And I think also if you're looking at a career in photography, like whether that's shooting models or travel photography, then I think it's a good way to build up a portfolio and to get recognized and to actually say to someone, yeah, I can do that, have a look at this photo. So I think it's a really good way. So if you found that video useful, please give it a thumbs up here on YouTube, as that will give other people a chance to see it. I'll be doing a lot more videos like this, all about stock photography and also other types of stock images. So if that interests you, please subscribe to my channel. I'll also be doing a lot of videos on how to make money online and how to make money and travel. So again, subscribe if that interests you as well. So thanks for watching this. If you've got any comments, then please put them in the box down below. If you've got any questions about stock photography or about traveling and working online, then also put those below and I'll try and answer those. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.